going? It's Ultimus, and today we're going to look at Fangs of the Devourer, the Subtlety Rogue Artifact weapon. First off, for the sake of checking and being consistent, let's check and make sure our first rank of our starting point here for the artifact tree is the same as our equip effect. Your attacks apply Withering Bite, dealing X shadow damage, and with a chance to trigger shadow techniques. Bites that trigger shadow techniques deal triple damage. That sounds terrifying. Okay, so see, this one is the same. I was looking at the Boomkin weapon earlier because I was going to do the Boomkin one, but there's too many talents missing in it. But the equip effect and the initial talent here are different, so I'm not sure if they're going to do the same thing with everything or how that's going to work, but it's a little confusing that both of those are different. I would imagine they're all going to be the same, but we'll have to wait and see. We have Gut Ripper. Increases the critical strike chance of Eviscerate by 5%, 10%, 15%. Fortune's Bite increases your chance of triggering shadow techniques by 33%, 63%, 100%. Sorry, 66%. I can read. Wow, okay. So just a guaranteed proc on shadow techniques. Which, okay, wow. I mean, that's a quick way to just set up triple damage right there. That's already terrifying. Precision Strike increases the damage dealt by your shadow strike by 10%. 30% makes sense. Embrace of Darkness protects the target with a magical shield that absorbs 0 to 2 damage. Not too worried about that. If that's all the damage that's going to absorb, we'll chop right through that. No worries. Again, I say this because I have a long-standing rivalry with rogues, and they will forever be the thorn in my side. So, as far as I'm concerned, if they are easier to kill, then beautiful. But I know that's a false number, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. That'll be adjusted as we get into beta for sure. Foul Shadows. Sorry, I'm just messing all this up. I'm just so sour towards rogues. I think it's my problem. Soul Shadows increases the duration of shadow blades by 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and 15 seconds. Fully decked out there. Energetic Stabbing. Again, these are just horrible sounding names. They're well thought out, not horrible as in who was dumb enough to pick these names, but horrifying as in they're just terrifying sounding. Your openers have a chance to refund 5 energy, 10, 15. Wow. Interesting. Let's look at Army of One real quick. When using an opener, a shadow clone appears and assists you in attacking the target. How is that an Army of One? Don't know, but that's, again, more damage. I like the way they are definitely emphasizing the shadow bits, like the shadow damage, the shadow clones, all the shadow things for subtlety rogues, which they did mention in the class changes that they are going to emphasize subtlety getting more in tune with some shadow magics for their abilities, because they are the one rogue spec that does get in tune with some of that. So it's kind of cool that they're using that to separate subtlety from what used to be combat and is now the outlaw spec, and then of course assassination as well. The Quiet Knife increased the damage of backstab by 3%, 6%, 10%. Demon's Kiss increases the damage of Nightblade by 5%, 10%, 15%. So just lots of just straightforward buffs so far, just to damage. Catwalk, your fleet-footed causes you to move an additional 5% faster, and you are immune to fall damage. Okay, interesting. Just completely immune to fall damage. Wow. Because I know, like, rogues had the reduced fall damage, but now just completely immune to fall damage? That's new. I don't think any other class has that, right? I mean, I know as a warrior I can charge and intervene and heroic leap down to stuff to keep myself from taking fall damage, but that's a mechanic I have to have stuff off cooldown for. So just baseline immune to fall damage, that's intense. Like, that alone is, I think, going to give rogues a huge advantage in a lot of situations. Just being flat out immune to fall damage, that makes a huge difference, especially when you're doing random battlegrounds. I'm thinking Arathi Basin right off the bat, you know, with those high cliffs down to Gold Mine, and then off of Lumber Mill, of course. Strand of the Ancients, when you're going from the tops of that hill down to the bottom, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not a huge advantage to where it's going to be broken, but stuff like that is just crazy because you're literally going to take 0 fall damage when you fall off things, and if anyone's dumb enough to chase you, they're going to. So that's kind of cool. I think, too, that'll give rogues a huge advantage if like suffering from knockbacks, because typically people try to knock you off stuff to kill you. So if they can't kill you with the initial damage, then you're gonna live because you're not gonna take the fall damage. So stuff like that I think is gonna give rogues a nice little edge, which would be cool for them. Faster than light. After sprinting 3 seconds without taking damage, you vanish. Oh, terrifying, but cool. That's a cool mechanic. Like, if I were maining a rogue, that would be probably a lot more exciting to me than it is. Like, simply because I don't play a rogue is probably why it's not like, oh my gosh, that's crazy cool. But that's a cool concept. Just the idea that you're running so fast and it just procs a stealth for you if you don't take damage for up to 3 seconds. Which isn't too bad. I feel like as a rogue, as long as you're not being dotted or bleeding, that's really not too hard to do because you're pretty slippery. So, kind of cool. Explosive shadows. When shadow clones expire or die, they explode, dealing, we'll say, X fire damage to their last target. Interesting. So whatever they hit last is going to take whatever fire damage it takes when they explode. So, interesting that they're taking fire damage, not shadow damage, though. I mean, I know it's an explosion, but technically it's like, right, an exploding shadow clone. So I guess it would make more sense to me that they would take shadow damage, but whatever, not my call. Ghost armor, you take less damage, whatever that percentage is going to be. I'm not really sure how that equates out. Maybe some of you can interpret that. M1/-1%. But either way, you're going to take less damage, which is always just nice. Just flat out damage reduction on yourself. Second shuriken. When you enter stealth, you gain a shield equal to 25% of your attack power. Is that right? I feel like that name and the tooltip don't match. I mean, if they do, cool, but it just seems like an odd choice of name for that particular skill, or vice versa. But it's cool. When you stealth, you gain a shield equal to 25% of your attack power. Nice that it's based on your attack power, not your health necessarily, which I think will keep it from being abused or getting out of control. And then, of course, finality. When you use a finisher, your next finisher of that type is empowered by the fangs. So, however that's going to play out, what that's going to look like, we don't know. If there's going to be a cool animation alongside of it, or you're just going to get a gnarly buff to damage, that's yet to be seen. But if you're able to pull off a finisher, and then your next finisher is going to be, or I should say a finisher of that type is empowered by the fangs. It'd be cool if like the weapons like glowed or did some kind of fancy effect for it, which I would imagine they would. Because Blizzard seems to be all about those animations and effects right now, which I'm all for, because that makes your skills more exciting. But I'm curious to see what this looks like and what the damage output's going to be like for it. So after you're just finishing, using a finishing move, the next finisher of that type. So let's say you use, Eviscerate. Yeah, Eviscerate is a finishing move. I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right, but it is. And then you get your 5 combo points, and then you drop another Eviscerate. That's whatever is going to happen. You're going to get that empowered effect. So curious to see what that looks like. Also terrifying, but I feel like just a lot of flat damage buffs to rogues or subtlety rogues here in the artifact tree. So nothing a whole lot exciting aside from faster than light, which sounds really cool. This sounds really cool. Just paired with this right here already sounds pretty deadly. And then of course the big effects here with the clones and the finisher, pretty a big deal, I think, but really excited to see what a lot of this looks like between the stealth, autoimmune to just fall. I want to see how each rogue functions differently. I hope that each spec is able to find its place in the game. Not just like, oh, this is just for PvP and this one's just for raiding and stuff like that, but like I hope each spec is able to find its place in PvP. I hope each spec is able to find its place in raiding, etc. I really hope that Blizzard is able to pull off this separating each spec from just being a rogue. Okay, you're just a rogue. Okay, well, no, I actually want to be an assassination rogue. Thank you very much. And, being able to actually do that and fulfill that fantasy and set them apart and give them a unique toolkit or approach to damage that, a outlaw rogue doesn't have, and etc., etc., or in this case, of course, subtlety compared to assassination, because I definitely feel like subtlety and assassination, they can get a little muddled, and then, of course, combat feels like it's, it gets lost in there as well, aside from being insane when it comes to the stuns. but it'll be cool if they can pull this off. So I'm optimistic, and for all the rogue players out there, I'm excited for you. I think it'll be cool that you guys get a little attention. It is nice that every class is getting at least a little bit of a rework in one way or the other. Some are getting it more than others, but it's nice to know that no one is really getting left behind, if that makes sense. So, but anyways, I'm going to end this video here. Finished up talking about the Rogue Artifact Tree, Fangs of the Devourer. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that share button if you feel so inclined as well. It definitely helps a lot getting the word out for the channel. As we continue to attempt to grow this year. And yeah, hopefully you guys will stick around for more. We'll be going over more artifact weapons and, of course, rolling out more PvP footage for you guys as the week goes on. But as always, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to follow me on all my different social media platforms. Twitter, I have a Facebook page. My Instagram is up on the banner as well. You can find me there. I am pretty approachable and easy to talk to on all those, and I reply pretty quickly, at least as quick as I can, granted as long as I'm not at work or anything like that. But I'd love to connect with you guys even more. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.